Kadosh, Boker Or, Bekiim Bahalacha, day 76, page 229. Halachat Tedvav, 15. Details about Kaddish. So Halakha number 15. If several people in the congregation are reciting Kaddish, they should make sure to recite in unison at the same pace. And if some people recite it quickly and others recite it too slowly, it will confuse those who are listening and trying to respond. See below in Halakha 47. That's why, by the way, if you remember, what I tried to do is I tried to put the proper pace in the middle, right? And that's why it's better also, right? In a lot of synagogues, they do it. They obligate them to go in one row. Why? Because, you're over there, the other guy's over there, the other guy, no. That's the way. Exactly. No, they tell you off because that's the way it's supposed to be. The way it's supposed to be is that in order to facilitate and to make sure that it's all done in unison, they all are at the front and they don't wait. They don't wait, meaning you know that there's Kaddish. If the guy's not there, you have to be there. And that's your problem. And I said, no, wait. I remember somebody here, no, let's wait. Well, wait. Yeah. I also, many times I used to go to the Teva. And the truth is, the best is to go to the Teva. Why the Teva? Or they used to do it in the front. It all depends on which synagogue. Some people, they do it in the front. Some people do it by the Teva. Whichever, but it's not really by the Teva. The Teva was a little bit different. But meaning it was all the people had to be in one place. Okay? So now it says, that was halakha number 15. If one person recites the Kaddish slightly quicker than the other, the people listening should respond to the one who's quicker. Yeah, I've seen people b'chavana respond to the one that's slower. No, you're answering to the one that's quicker. Okay? It will count for them as they responded to both people reciting it. If the first person reaches the words V'imnu amen a full second earlier than the second person, the congregation should respond amen to the first person and then again to the second person. And the same applies to any point in the Kaddish where the congregation is supposed to respond, which means if it's going to be, it's like Kilu two Kaddishim, yeah? Then if it's mamash like a second in between, so you're right, you're going to answer two different amens. But if not, the quicker one, that's the one that you're answering to. Okay? Let's see number 400. Ben Ishchai ruled that people saying Kaddish are not in unison. Congregation should respond to the person who reaches the words V'imnu amen first. And as Sefer Mekavtziel added, said the Hechal Alafim, that if there's a full second between the two, respond to each of them. These rulings were preceded with the response Halachot Tanot. He ruled, however, that as long as the two people are reciting Kaddish within this 1 second with each other, the listener can choose whichever one he wants. And this ruling is cited in the Mishnah Brura and the Hechal Alafim. If they both reach that point within a second of one another, the listener can respond to either one and will count as a response to both. Apparently, according to the Ben Ishchai and Hechal Alafim, is the one that recites it more quickly. More research is needed to determine why they favor this formula. Meaning, why? Maybe I could choose the last one, or I could decide. But no, he's saying the Ben Ishchai says specifically the first one. Okay? If someone is in a place where several groups of people are praying, each formulating an independent minyan, it could happen that one group begins a Kaddish, while the neighboring group are already in the middle of the Kaddish. In that case, the person listening should respond only to the first group. Although he could technically respond to both, it's incorrect to mix up the order of one's responses. And this cannot be compared to two people saying Kaddish together, where one of them recites it at a faster pace. Because it's like, mevalbel, so staying where you are. Okay? What happens now if you have a choice between Kaddish and the blessing? So he says over here, the Chesel Alafim and the Sari the Mekabtziel Parashat Vayechi Halakha 44. And if someone hears Kaddish and at the same time he hears someone else saying a bracha, he should respond Amen ve'Amen. Okay? Fine. Next halakha, 16. When someone recites Kaddish, he should raise his voice so that the congregation can hear him and respond Amen to him. If someone is incapable of raising his voice, he may still recite Kaddish. He should try if possible to make every effort to raise his voice as much as possible. He should at least make sure that at least 2 or 3 people closest to him can actually hear him. Meaning if a guy's doing it under his breath, that's not Kaddish. You understand? He has to make sure that he's doing it that people could hear him. 401, the Petach Hadvid ruled that it is permissible for someone to recite Kaddish silently as long as there are other people in the congregation who are saying it out loud. Even though the person reciting it is supposed to tell the others, V'imru amen, inviting them to respond to him. It is all right as long as the congregation responds to the Kaddish out loud in response to all those who are reciting it. This is likewise the ruling of the Rav Palim. And the Ben Ishchai, he added, that the practice in Yerushalayim and Yeshiva Betel was the counter reciting Kaddish slowly, with all the meditations described to each word. Anyone in the congregation recited the Kaddish as well, but who did not know the Kabbalah Kaddish, recited it silently along with the Chazan. Despite this testimony, the Ben Ish Chai concluded that in ordinary congregations, people should not do this. Instead, each person should recite the Kaddish out loud. Yeah, very important. The response, Sabinyan Sion, however, rule that it is forbidden to recite Kaddish silently along with the cantor. The Bekiim Sofer concurred with the practice observed in Yerushalayim as the Yeshiva Betel, but he recommended that the person stand at some distance from the cantor and recite the Kaddish long and loud enough for at least 2 or 3 people to hear him and respond to him. Okay, so at least it should be 2 or 3 people, minimum. The Letzion ruled that if someone in the congregation where many people are reciting Kaddish, each one at his own pace, and as a result, no one can really hear and respond to anyone's Kaddish, it is permissible to recite Kaddish along with them, even though no one actually hears them or responds to him. He explained that this practice relies upon the Talmud statement that the Shekhinah is present whenever there are 10 people. Still, if someone can, he should raise his voice above the others and attempt to force the others to adjust themselves to his pace. And this way, he brings honor to the synagogue and to the heaven. Exactly, yeah. Many times I do that in order to put a little bit of a pace. Sometimes they come and they start forcing one way or the other. Usually I try to make sure that it's always the same type of a pace. 17. If 10 people are present in the synagogue and all of them wish to recite Kaddish, this is permissible, although there's no one to respond to them. So imagine, all 10 people in the synagogue and all 10 have to say Kaddish. In this situation, they should try to persuade one person to volunteer, right? Not to say Kaddish, and instead to respond to men. It is best, in fact, that at least 2 people would volunteer. That means they could take turns. You understand? 2 people now, 2 people the next time together, and they take turns doing that, and that way they could do this. Okay? 402. Rav Eliyahu Mani. Remember, Rav Eliyahu Mani was one of the Rabbanim of the Ben Ish Chai. Cited in response to Rav Palim that it is permissible for the entire congregation to recite Kaddish in unison. This is likewise the ruling of Bnei Yehuda Yash and the Petach Hadvir. Although the text of the Kaddish includes the words V'imru Amen, which is a command that everybody else answers Amen, it does not matter even though there's nobody present to actually say Amen. To prove this, he pointed out that the text we recited as we complete the Amidah, which includes the same phrase, V'imru Amen. Right? In that case, the command is directed towards the angels who hear our silent prayers, and we can say the phrase in the Kaddish, right? Likewise, directed towards the angels. Alternatively, there might be people outside the synagogue that can hear the Kaddish, and the phrase is directed to whoever might hear it. The Ben Ish Chai, right, repeated the ruling found in Rav Palim and added that it is still best to arrange for at least one person to respond to man. This is an adjustment to his ruling in the Rav Palim. Such a recommendation does not appear there. But here he's saying that at least one person should do it. In the newest edition of the Ben Ish Chai, the text is corrected to make this clear. The Bekiim Sofer pointed out that if the reason for having someone to respond is to justify the phrase V'imru Amen, it's necessary to at least have 2 people answering, right? Because it's V'imru in plural form. Amen. Have a wonderful day.